rank the wide receivers. How do you see the wide receiver group? It's so deep. They look so terrific at the combine. You know, you got teams like the Packers and now the Chiefs having lost or traded away their top wideouts. They're now in the business of adding some big-time talent. Walk me through how you see the wide receiver group in this draft, Bucky.
The wide receiver group is really interesting because it comes down to flavor. Right? It's like going to the ice cream shop and trying to determine what flavor do you want on a given night. And so do you want the big-body playmaker like a Drake London who can absolutely dominate and crush it on the outside because he can win 50-50 balls. And then you have Traylon Burks who also kind of fits the bill as that big-body playmaker. And then you have these little scooters, right, these fast guys that can make plays, whether it's Garrett Wilson or Chris Olave. You have guys down the ranks and Sky Moore. You have another playmaker in David Bell, who's not quite in that category, but guys who can just kind of make plays. And so you have to figure out what you want. When I think about those two teams, the Green Bay Packers and the Kansas City Chiefs, part of the reason why teams are more comfortable letting these elite wide receivers go is we've seen these young guys come in and have immediate success. And so I believe out of that crew that we talked about, we may not have the Jamar Chase type where you can see them going in the top 5 and they're immediately going to pop. But these guys in the bottom of the first round, they are intriguing because they are right now ready. Plug and play, put them in, they can make big plays. And I think you're going to see a lot of these guys come back up in conversation when we talk about Pro Bowl bids and nominees as first-year players because they're going to have opportunities to be on a major stage and make plays right away.
Well, I mean, on your mock here, Bucky, the fact that you think this, and if this happens, that the Chiefs get Sky Moore from Western Michigan, you know, Tyreek out, Sky Moore in. Obviously, there's a large amount of shoes to fill with the Cheetah. But I saw this kid work out. I heard what DJ said about him and other evaluators like yourself. That would be huge. That would be tremendous if that kid winds up in Kansas City. By the way,
it'd be tremendous because you have to think about this. There's been a lot of conversation about Tyreek Hill and him being 1-1, and he is a great player. But you have to understand when the Kansas City Chiefs drafted him, they drafted him in the 5th round pick. He was a punt returner. He was a former running back coming out of Oklahoma State and going to another destination before he get to Kansas City. No one knew that he was going to be a number 1 receiver.
Right.
So Andy Reid and those guys have the confidence in knowing that not necessarily that they created Tyreek Hill, but they discovered and developed and nurtured that kind of talent. So they feel like they can go back at the draft, and a draft is increasingly producing more talented wide receivers that can step up and play. They're confident that they can find a player that won't necessarily replicate that production, but will give them a more balanced wide receiver core. Because you have to remember, Pat Mahomes' struggles a lot of times were attributed to the sandlot play that he and Tyreek Hill had developed. Well, now Pat Mahomes will probably play a little more discipline and detail from the pocket, and then you need raw runners, guys that are dependable and reliable in terms of getting to their spots. If they find guys that can do that, and Sky Moore is one of those guys that can do it, I don't think you will see any drop-off from the Kansas City Chiefs offense.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.